Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to today's video. We are going to be reviewing a product from NARS. It has been a real long time since I have talked about this brand on my channel. I think the last item I reviewed from them was well over a year ago. It was when they released their Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. Oh my gosh, I think I actually got the name of that right for some reason. Every time I go to say the name of that foundation, it just doesn't want to come out, so yay for that. But what I have in front of me is the Summer Lights face palette. Now this is limited edition and I believe that it is exclusive to Sephora. I don't believe you can get this anywhere else, at least the last time I checked. If you can, leave a comment down below and let me know where else you have seen this palette, but I haven't really seen anybody else talk about this. I think a couple videos ago, Tati very lightly touched this and kind of used a couple shades from the palette, but it wasn't like a focused review. I am so excited to share with you guys my thoughts. This is not a first impressions. I have been wearing this palette, kind of playing around with it, kind of on my own time, wearing it to work. I wore it all this past weekend. I just want to give you guys a really good idea because this palette is not cheap. It retails for $59. Now there is the Summer Lights palette, which is what I have here, and then there's also the Summer Nights palette. Obviously by the names, you can probably guess that this is going to be more geared towards daytime looks, whereas the night one is going to be geared more towards evening, more sultry, more smoky looks. I picked up Summer Lights just because this kind of color story just naturally speaks to me. I am all about the kind of very natural, effortless, bronzy, glowy look. When the weather gets warmer, that is like the number one thing I just get so excited and stoked about is it's time to whip out the glow oils, the body shimmers, just all that fun, glowy, warm stuff. I absolutely live for that. So again, naturally, this is the palette that spoke to me. I think that the the packaging is beautiful. I absolutely love it. It feels sturdy. It does stay closed quite nicely. There is a fantastic mirror on the inside. You get this nice big mirror. And then these are some pretty giant pans on the inside. So this whole row right here is meant for the eyes. You've got a bronzer and then you've got a highlighter or blush topper as it is described. Now everything in this, again, like I said, is going to be limited edition. So let's just kind of do some swatches here quickly and go over the shades. I'm going to try my best to go over the shade names because they are only on the back of the palette here. So this first shade we have from the eyeshadows is Rainwater. Absolutely gorgeous. I think this is a very pretty shade, perfect for all over the lid. Then we have another shimmer shade. This is called Hibiscus. This is just kind of like a coppery brown shade. Then we have the only matte eye shade in here, and this is the shade, I think it's called Pepite or Papette. Swatches pretty beautifully and pigmented. And then we have the last shimmer shade, which is called Hey or High. I don't know some of these names. I hope I'm saying them right. So there are all of the eyeshadows in the palette swatched. And then let's just do the last two items in here. Now this is the highlighter called Paper Flower. It's going to be kind of like a gold, rose gold shade. Absolutely stunning. Let me just get closer so you guys can see it there. Really pretty shade. And then last but not least, we have the bronzer, which is in the shade Destination Unknown. This feels like more of a matte, satin matte finish. So there's the bronzer. So there are all of the swatches that you guys can see. So if you are into warm tones, you want something that's very easy and effortless and on the go, a layout like this is definitely going to be for you. This is travel friendly, again with the nice mirror. Let's go ahead and create a look together on camera. Let's just start off with getting some bronzer on. I have really nothing on my face except for my brows, which are very wonky today, so please excuse me there. Obviously some lipstick, foundation, and that's about it. So I'm looking very flat. I definitely need some color. So I'm going to dip into the bronzer using my Estetica P12 brush. And we're just going to lightly start to sweep this bronzer on the cheeks. Now, one thing I will say about this bronzer is that it is very, very blendable. So as you can see, this bronzer blends out pretty effortlessly. It's a beautiful pigment. I love the shade. It just gives you like this nice, warm, soft, glowy, effortless look. And it blends out very easily. So much better already. Wow, did I need some warmth on the cheeks. Let's go ahead and just do a little bit right here. around the face just to kind of warm everything up. So now that we have some bronzer on, I'm gonna save the highlight for last. Let's go ahead and dip into the eyeshadows in this. Now on my last video, or 2 videos ago, I reviewed the Jeffree Star concealers, and I set the concealer before I put on eyeshadow, and a few of you were like, oh my God, Jeffree Star told you not to set the concealer. You're supposed to leave it unset and then pack your shadow on top, which is what I have done today. So I don't have any setting powder on my eyes whatsoever. I just have my Jeffree Star C6 concealer laid down. So we are gonna start off by dipping into Pepite, which is this matte shade right here. Not a lot of kick up, but I'm gonna use my Morphe R37 brush, which is a fluffier brush. And I just kind of wanna fluff this out all over the lid and all into the crease. So as you can see, there is some major pigmentation here. Obviously, this is going to be a very simple look because I don't really want to dip into anything other than what's in this palette. Now, as I'm blending this out, I am going to tell you, when I first used this palette, I was not impressed with the eyeshadows. I don't know why. I think it was the concealer maybe that I used, and I did set my concealer. So I will say that using this shadow on a concealer that has not been set or on top of a shadow primer, do not set it first. Just leave it as is and then pile the shadow on. The pigmentation is going to be much stronger. And that is why sometimes first impressions are not exactly my favorite thing, because I could have given this not the best review. Some of you might think, well, you know, I shouldn't have to do special things to get a product to work. Unfortunately, that's just how things are. Sometimes I have so many amazing products that just work best when used a certain way. Some of you might not find that to be the case, but for me, that is what I found with the shadows in this palette. There, now this is beautiful. This is kind of right up my alley. These are my favorite types of shades just to put all over the lid. I love a very warm terracotta or kind of like a burnt orange all in the crease and even all over the lid, sometimes for a simple look, but it's my favorite. Now you could also use the bronzer as a transition shade as well if you wanted to start off with something lighter. But again, I just wanted to showcase to you guys the pigmentation with the actual eyeshadows in this palette, obviously. So I just got my nails done. They are very long and I am not used to this right now. I haven't had my nails done in close to forever. So I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to dip into this deep shade right here, the shade Hi or Hey. And this is kind of what I'm going to put all over the lid. And I'm gonna try to not stab myself with my nail. My first time trying to do this with my finger since I've had my nails done, you guys. I think that this is beautiful so far. I did want to kind of use these darker shades and really build this up to let you know that even though this palette is supposed to be the lights palette or more daytime, it is pretty versatile that you can make it more suitable for for nighttime looks. You can even go day to night with this palette because there is that deeper shade in there, which I absolutely love. So let's go ahead and work on the lower lash line. I'm going to take this brush right here from Sigma. This is, oh my God, I can't even see the number anymore, the E47. And I'm going to dip back into that Pepite shade, which is that matte shade right here. Let's go ahead and build that shade up a little bit more on the outer corner here, just to create a little bit more dimension. I'm just going to pack a little bit of that on, using that same brush. I'm going to go ahead and dip into the highlighter now. This is the shade Paper Flower. We are going to use that on the inner corner, brow bone, and then obviously to highlight on the face. It says it is also a blush topper, but I think we're just going to focus on using it as a highlight. Now, before I like to lay any highlight down, I like to set my face. Again, I'm going to use some of the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. A Jeffree Star Popsicle Mirror has been doubling as a fan for my face. Perfect. The reason why I like to do that is because I feel like my highlighter will pop a lot more on top of a set face. So we're going to dip into Paper Crown or Paper Flower. Why do I want to call it Paper Crown? I will say with this highlight, this is way, way more leaning towards a more glow from within. Now in the viewfinder, I think it gives a beautiful, just healthy, lit from within glow. It doesn't exaggerate texture. It doesn't look like it's sitting on top of the skin. It just looks very effortless and beautiful. And for most of the time, like most days, that is the type of highlight that I personally lean towards. It's work appropriate. It's daytime appropriate. It still gives you that beautiful sheen when it hits the light in the right ways without it just being too overwhelming or that being the only thing that you see on your face. It looks very natural and effortless, so I really, really, really do enjoy the highlight. And you could make it even more intense if you got some of this on your brush, sprayed it with some setting spray. I have tried this as well. And then packed it on. As you see, you're gonna get a much more intense highlight if you do so, but I still feel like it looks so beautiful and just effortless and gorgeous on the skin. I'm going to take my Lamora pencil brush. This is a detailed pencil brush. We're going to dip into that highlight again, paper flower. I'm going to spray it again with some mist, and then I'm going to put that on the inner corners here. So beautiful. Even more on the inner corner. I love a pop-in inner corner highlight. All right, you guys, so I'm gonna pop on some mascara quickly and I will be right back. All right, you guys, so there you have it. This is the completed look using the NARS Summer Lights palette. Obviously, final verdict is that this palette is beautiful. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I have been testing it, wearing it, and I do find it to be very long wearing. I didn't have any issues of it fading too much. The highlights stayed on pretty well throughout the day. The shadow stayed very pigmented. I've had it make it through my work day. I just absolutely love it. To me, this just really speaks just like sultry summer, beautiful, just summer glam. I absolutely love it. I think that it's just effortless, flawless. I love the eyeshadow selection in here. The highlight especially mixed next to this bronzer, just like the two colors together, they look so beautiful. Everything in this palette really seems to complement one another. This might not be something bad to consider, considering the Sephora sales. I think they're going on right now, if they haven't already started, with the VIB Rouge, VIB, and the Beauty Insider sales going on. You can save some money if this is something that you're interested in and you're like, oh boy, it's $59, but you do have that opportunity to save a little bit of money on it. So I think that this is beautiful if you have been wanting a more summer themed or a more warm face palette. Everything in it that you need: bronzer, highlighter, eyeshadows, boom, one and done, good to go. I think this is something to consider. The formula is beautiful. Everything blends effortlessly. It's pigmented and it just gives you this beautiful enhanced look. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought about the look that I created, what you thought about this palette. Is this something that's been on your radar? Have you not heard of it yet? Again, I'm surprised that not a lot of people are talking about it because it is really, truly stunning. Give this video a huge thumbs up if you liked it, share it, and of course be sure to subscribe to my channel before you go. Love you guys so, so much. You know I do, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye, guys.